Hello students, welcome to the class. In this video, we'll be talking about how to improve our perception, which is a component of the soft skills portion of Unit 1 of Semester 2 syllabus. Now let's look at this picture and try to understand what's happening there. You observe two people looking at a digit. The person on the left assumes it is 6 and the person on the right thinks it's 9. Why do you think they are calling it different names? Probably because of their perspective. The place from which they are looking at the digit is making it sound like 6 or 9. Now look at this picture. Again, it's a confusion between two people who think 3 logs, or the other one thinks only 4 logs. Now once again, it's about how they view the situation before them and come to an understanding of it. Perception. Now this is what is called as perception. Now perception is the way we understand something, we conceive of something. It is the way we experience the world around us. It is the process of gathering information through our senses and then organizing that information into uh, some sense and then trying to understand that information. So there are three things happening when we look at something through our senses. We gather information, mind organizes it, and then we understand it. Now each one of us perceives the world differently because no two people experience the world, its various aspects, in the same manner. It not only creates our experience of the world, it also allows us to act within our environment. So it includes our sense organs and also our understanding. For example, now here we find a woman, and there are many places from which there is an external stimulus coming to her. And the world around us is actually coming through us through her five senses, or like the senses sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. Now, this sensory information comes to all of us through the environment and it creates a sensation in us. Now, sensation is the physical stimulation of the sensory receptors like sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. But then it doesn't end there. We actually understand that information, and that is called as perception. So, perception involves interpreting or understanding this sensory information. Now, what happens when different types of information come to us? We begin to understand it, we begin to like it, we begin to dislike it, and we also form opinions based on the information that we get. Now, how do we proceed? How does this process actually happen? Now, the stimulus or the information from the environment comes to us, and then out of all the stimulus, there are some information which our brain pays attention to. And then our eyes form an image and transfer it to the brain. And then our brains, the neurons in the brain, become aware of such stimulus. And we begin to recognize things, and sometimes we may also show an action. For example, if you see a little baby falling from a chair, now that's a stimulus. Your sight sense gets attention of that stimulus. It sends and it forms an image and sends a signal to the brain. The brain becomes aware and it sends us back that it's a little brother who is falling. We begin to recognize and then we suddenly spring into action. Now, what does our perception do? Okay, it seems a little bit scientific, but then what happens? What happens when we perceive things the way we do? Now, it shapes our likes and dislikes. Why do somebody like red color and somebody likes violet is based on their perception. Why do I like fair skinned people and not dark skinned people is based on our perception. It forms our opinions on people, and our opinions are formed. So we like to associate with people whom we like or whom we think are similar to us. That's our perception. It also shapes our mindsets. Some people are introverts and some people are extroverts. Some people like to work in teams and some people only like to work individually. Now it shapes our mindsets. So perception, it not only shapes our mindsets, it also forms our prejudices. We like some things, we like some people, we don't like all. We have the stigmas of behavioral patterns, social things, and also we sometimes just don't talk to certain people. All these things are based on perception. So perception can be good and it also can be bad. So it certainly would help us if you're, say, trying to get a job, that our perception qualities may be improved. Otherwise, we may not be compatible in a social situation. So it is very essential that we improve our perception skills. But how can we do that? First thing that needs to happen is we need to have a better understanding of our own self. Why do I behave in such a way? Why do I like this? Why don't I like that? So it's always about understanding our own self, the first step to improve our perception. And then we will understand that just because I don't like such pattern of thinking doesn't mean the other person is wrong. It may be my own fault too. Now, the second thing is we need to show empathy towards others. Everyone is different and everyone has different potentials and capabilities. One can be good at sports, the other can be good at science. Just because I'm good at science doesn't mean I should never associate with somebody who is good at sports. We need to show empathy. Empathy is not sympathy, but empathy means mutual understanding on the same level. We should be having a positive attitude. We also need to become a active listener so as to understand what the other person is actually saying. Many times we just form an opinion on others even before we listen to them. And many times we also have preconceived notion about ourselves or others. We just will say, I don't like this, I don't like that, I will never go to such a class, and so on. So we need to avoid preconceived notions about ourselves and others. The other good thing that we can do is communicate freely and openly. Discuss with people what you like, why you like, and what you don't like. Many times we assume that the other person should understand that we don't like this, but we have never said to them that we don't like that. So it's always essential to communicate freely. Comparing our perception with those of others and also can also be a help. And to have a complete understanding of things, peoples, and issues, many things can be discussed with each other. So it's very essential, especially in a job scenario, that we have good perception skills. So perception is nothing but the information that we get through our sense organs has to be processed and then it has to be understood. Not just based on the sensory organs, but also our mind and cognition needs to have an understanding of it. Proper interpretation will lead to proper relationships. Thank you. If you have any more queries, right. For any more queries, you can approach us in the details given and keep watching the videos. Have a good day.